Hey everyone, and a massive welcome to this explainer. If you are a student learning to code today, well, you are in exactly the right place. Think of me as your supportive mentor, here to guide you through a brand new section of your developer toolkit. Today, we're focusing on JavaScript, and specifically, we're going to look at how to manipulate strings. Now, strings are really just text data, but learning how to bend them, cut them, and organize them to your will is a total superpower. It's something you're going to use literally every single day in your programming journey. I am so thrilled to help you unlock this today. So, let's instantly put ourselves in a problem-solving mindset. Ask yourself, how do we manipulate text programmatically? When you're building websites or apps, you rarely get perfectly clean data. You're constantly dealing with messy, raw text data typed in by users, pulled from databases, or just scraped from other websites. You might have a massive paragraph of text, but maybe only need the very first sentence. Or maybe you have a list of words all jammed together and you need to separate them out. We obviously can't just go in and manually edit the text ourselves. We need our code to do all that heavy lifting automatically. Okay, let's dive into this. First up, welcome to your toolkit. Second, the zero-based golden rule. Third, slicing strings with precision. Fourth, splitting data into pockets. And fifth, your next coding steps.
Welcome to your toolkit, String Methods Overview.
As a beginner, it is honestly so comforting to know you don't have to build everything from scratch. JavaScript actually gives you pre-made tools called methods that are ready to make your coding life exponentially easier. Let's read this definition out loud. A method is a built-in JavaScript function that can be called on a specific data type, like a string, to perform an action. Think of a method as your new best friend. It's essentially a pre-made function that the creators of JavaScript have already written for you. All you have to do is call its name, and it just springs into action, manipulating your data exactly how you want it to. Today, we're focusing exclusively on string methods, functions built specifically to handle text.
Part 2, the zero-based golden rule, counting in JavaScript.
Right, before we start wildly cutting into strings, we absolutely have to understand how the JavaScript environment counts. Because if you don't understand this, your tools are going to cut in all the wrong places. Take the word hello, for instance. As humans, we look at the letter H and say it's the first letter, which means it's number 1, right? But JavaScript is zero-based. The first character always starts at position 0. So H is 0, E is 1, L is 2, the second L is 3, and O is 4. This zero-based index is absolutely crucial. Whenever you want to pinpoint exactly where a method should act, you have to remember to start counting from 0, not 1. Part 3, slicing strings with precision, using the slice method. Now that we know how to count, it is time to introduce the very first tool in your new kit, the slice method. I want you to frame this in your mind as a scalpel used for extracting very specific text. Let's establish our starting data. We're declaring a variable called str, which is short for string, and we're assigning it the simple text, hello world. Now, a super important note for you as a new developer. When we use string methods, they don't actually destroy or change this original string. Instead, they just read it, perform their action, and return completely new values. So our original, hello world, will remain perfectly intact in the background. Notice how flexible this tool really is. Let's compare a couple ways to use it. First, check out what happens when we call str.slice, passing in 2 and 9. We are passing 2 arguments, or numbers, into the method here. That first number, 2, tells JavaScript exactly where to start the slice. Remembering our zero-based rule, position 2 drops us right at the first L. The second number, 9, tells it where to end. But here is the real trick. It cuts just before that end position. It doesn't actually include the character at position 9. So slicing from 2 up to just before 9 extracts the exact segment low world. Now, let's look at the other example where we only pass a single argument. Str.slice, passing just the number 2. If you only provide one number, JavaScript uses that as the starting point, and then just keeps slicing everything until the very end of the string. It essentially chops off the beginning and goes all the way to the end, giving us low world. It's incredibly handy when you just want to snip off the front of a piece of data. Part 4, splitting data into pockets, using the split method. So slicing is fantastic for targeted extractions. But what if you have just a huge mess of data that really needs organizing? For that, we pull out our second tool, the split method. This is a real-world solution you are going to use constantly, especially for processing messy form data submitted by users. Imagine you're building a blog on WordPress, right? And the user types in a bunch of category tags separated by commas. In our code, we actually receive it as one big long string jammed completely together. Meat, comma, ham, comma, salami, comma, pork. If we want our program to do something cool with each individual word, like say make them into clickable buttons, we can't just leave them stuck together in a single string. They absolutely need to be sorted. To fix this, Split is going to turn our string into something called an array. Now, I know you might not have covered arrays in depth yet, but I want to offer a gentle introduction so the abstract syntax doesn't overwhelm you. Think of an array as a list of pockets containing data. Honestly, that's all it is. Instead of one big, messy pile of text, an array gives us a neat row of individual pockets, and we can just slide one specific piece of data into each pocket. So how does Split actually do this? Let's walk step by step through exactly what the split command tells the JavaScript engine to do when we give it a comma as our dividing line. Step 1. The engine scans the string looking for the specified separator, which for us is the comma. Step 2. Every single time it hits that comma, it basically brings down a visual axe and splits the string right at that exact spot. Step 3. It takes whatever text came right before that cut and neatly tucks it away into a brand new array pocket. And then it just repeats this process down the entire line of text. And here is the code actually in action. We declare a new variable called tagsArray, and we tell it to equal tags.split, passing the comma into the parentheses as our separator. And boom, look at the result. There, my friends, you're seeing an array. We've taken raw, completely disorganized text and transformed it into a beautifully neat list of separated data. Each type of meat is now sitting safely in its own individual pocket, surrounded by those square brackets that tell us, yep, it's an array.
Part 5, your next coding steps. Wrapping up.
You are doing fantastic. We've covered some really foundational concepts today, and it's time to wrap up this explainer and point you toward the horizon of your coding journey. Let's quickly recap the toolkit rules you just learned. Remember, string methods always return completely new values. They don't destroy your original data. You now have the slice method, which is your scalpel for extracting highly specific string segments using zero-based index counting. And you have the split method, your absolute organizational powerhouse for breaking stuck-together strings apart into neat array pockets based on a separator. But listen, slice and split are just two of the many built-in functions waiting for you. I highly recommend checking out the Mozilla Developer Network, or MDN, String Methods Guide. It's just an amazing resource to discover dozens of other ways to manipulate text. And of course, since we got a little sneak peek today, your logical next step is a deep dive into mastering arrays. So as you open up your code editor and start practicing today, I want to leave you with this final thought. What other built-in JavaScript methods will you discover to supercharge your code? The language is vast, the tools are already built, and they're really just sitting there waiting for you to wield them. Keep exploring, keep building, and never stop experimenting. Happy coding, and I'll see you in the next explainer.